All right, so welcome to our May Load Across the Globe meeting. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about real quick before we get started. First is our team of the week. So each week we nominate a different team to feature on our website, loadrobotics.org. So this is our current team of the week, and then you can see some of our previous teams of the week down here. So if you're interested in having your team featured, go ahead and apply now. Next, we have our Discord, which I think most of you are in, but if you are not, go ahead and join that. This is the QR code. We actually have what
I can check. 415.
415
415.
members at the moment. So it's a great way to continue conversations outside of meetings. Next is some team statistics for our Load Across the Globe initiative. We have 250 teams from 49 US states. We're still looking for a team from South Dakota and 36 countries. So let's keep the momentum going and invite other teams that you know. Our previous meetings that we've had, so these are some of our previous presenters. We had DeSoto Technics presenting on design principles, Revamped Robotics on pager pathing, 666 on outreach principles, Cyber Slingers Gold on budgeting and funding tips, Blue Crew maximizing team efficiency, Bluebot Builders on the robot design and competition tips, Kraken on supporting rookie teams. We had some FTAs come and present about what FTAs wish teams knew. Yearview presenting on portfolio optimization, Terra Bridges presenting on the Connect Award, and Technobots presenting on outreach. So if you're interested in watching any of the recordings for those meetings, they're all on the YouTube, what's the word? Playlist, the YouTube playlist. So that's in the announcement channel of our Discord. Then our next meetings are June 14th at noon EST and July 18th at noon EST. And we're still working on finalizing all the details for the presenters. But
On June 14th, we're going to have Simba from the Configurable Parts Library coming to talk about Onshape and how he manages all that. And so I'm excited for that one. So we're still, like Annette said, we're still figuring out all the details for those ones. But we'll keep you guys updated and let everyone know in the Discord as soon as possible.
yep. So let's go ahead and get started with this meeting. So today I wanted to start with introductions. Then we'll go through game speculation. If anyone has any slideshows or discussion things they want to talk about, we can do that. And we'll go into cat sharing, and then just a general discussion.
All right, first, I'm going to share my screen and do my presentation and stuff. Um, all right. Can you guys see my screen?
It's
No?
still loading on my end.
Yes?
There we go.
Nice. All right, BioBuzz. What's all the buzz about? So, at, at Worlds, they revealed the names of next season. We've got BioBuzz for FTC, and then BioGlow and BioCore for FLL and FRC. BioBuzz, it's bee themed. It's centered around these. So this is a pollen. They gave these ones to us at Worlds with our ticket that we had. They're 3-inch balls. So I have an artifact here with me as well, and you can see the size difference. So it's pretty small. And I'm holding these up right up next to each other. They're a lot smaller than the artifact. Um, they are about 2.9 inches in diameter. They're yellow and they're pretty much just like the artifact. They've got like the same number of holes and everything. I think they're made by the same company too. What do we know so far? So the pollen will be placed on the field in various areas on the ground for us to pick up. We can tell this by looking at the kit bots and how their intakes are, and that's always like the easy part of the game is the kit bot. So you have to pick it up off the ground. The control limit. There's probably no control limit given how hard it already was for the refs to keep track of each robot having 3 of these at Worlds, and they kind of didn't do that too well. So I don't see how they could have a control limit on these other than somehow checking like your robot's size, like seeing how many in inspection or something and seeing how many you could actually physically fit in your robot. So I seriously doubt there'll be a control limit on these, which is exciting because I want to make a giant robot hopper full of them, like FRC. There'll be some kind of center structure on the field. I'll go more into that later on in my presentation. Um, and oh, yeah. Then the game will involve lots of precise driving. That's another thing that I'll go on into later. All right. So why will the pylon be placed on the ground? So first actually revealed, well, released, there's a series of eight, I think, what are they called? Uh, off-season guides. So skill builders. I'm sorry, skill builders. The skill builder challenges. They released eight of them, and they basically like how to prepare with what you know now, using now that we know these exist, how we can use these to prepare for the next season. So you can, in some of them, you can place the pollen around on the field in different spots, then pick them up autonomously, or like this one, you can pick them up and then put them into these goals that are for each side. So the blue side goes into there, and the red side starts over here and goes into there. Then you can get different points based on those. So I think there will definitely be some kind of lifting element to the game this year. Like picking it up off the ground, moving it into somewhere else higher off the ground for points. Then the center structure. So the price shows that the half field kit is actually $400 and the full field is $600. That is not half. So there's probably some large structure or something that's in the middle of the field that both the half kit and the full kit will come with. Um, this is probably where you'll have to dump the pollen into. So that'll be interesting. Into the deep season. I know now there was a lot of speculation there when they revealed the prices for that. Like some people noticed that it wasn't exactly half the price. Well, this year it was a lot closer. Then the terrain. So I know a lot of people are like excited. Ooh, what if they put terrain in the game? That would be really cool if they actually had terrain. Um, I don't think they'll do like mountains or like the full field or like giant ramps or something. I think they've seen what most teams like to do, and like I don't think they'll do that. What I do think they'll do though is something like this. So over here, where they used to put the cones on in the power play game, like a little pedestal basically for the cone to rest on. Um, this year they just had to like place this on the field, and you had to make sure you had it on a flat spot. That's going to be a lot harder when the ball is this size. So I think that it's definitely feasible that there'll be something that this will rest on when it starts. Then maybe if there's just in a giant pile like this Rover Ruckus image over here, they'll just be randomly placed in there. But you can see there's still three of them on these pedestals in front of it. So I've drawn a very technical diagram over here of a pollen on a pedestal. It's definitely not just stuck on there. But that's what I think it could be like. Something like that, where if you have like maybe six of these like arranged so you can easily get to them, then the rest could be behind something. So this is from the Rover Ruckus, like I said, and you basically have to like reach over it. So most of the kit bots don't have something to do that right now. But most kit bots are just like the low levels of gameplay. So I think that like the easy way to play the game is going to be go around, pick up all these off the pedestals. The hard part, and what most like better teams are going to do, is try and take intake from like these barriers. They probably won't be that big. I think they could probably take pretty short, like only about like an inch tall or something. Um, just so it would be tricky to drive over. Just to make so. But then teams could still go and like intake from there easily if they have an extension or something. The kit bots. So there've been four kit bots released so far. These are just like half the kit bots though. There's a lot more parts in there that they haven't used yet, and still more motors and everything. The GoBuilder one is the one that's like had the full parts list and everything released. So it's got like tank drive with two motors, then a really fast intake on the front, and some servos on the sides for with giant gecko wheels on them. So what I think is in the skill builders first released, they said make sure you're able to intake from the corners. So like when the pollen is in the corner on the field wall, you'll still want to be able to intake it. So most teams this year, Decode could do that fine, but I think with these smaller balls, it might be a little trickier. So that's why GoBuilder added those servos on the sides there. Um, then the Rev one, it's basically just tank drive again. But one interesting thing is they have this plastic sheet here to move the artifacts up and over like their control hubs and stuff. So there'll probably be something you don't just want to keep them on the ground in there. Like it seems like the Go Builder one, it means it's more rolling the pollen around on the ground, while the Rev one is bringing them up into the air. Um, then the Studica one, that one and the Andy Marker one are interesting. So they've got the two sets of intakes, so they're kind of like on top of each other. Maybe this doesn't mean anything, but maybe it means there's some way to get pollen, but the pollen are already up higher up someplace, and we have to get them down, and that before we can then take them someplace else and lift them back up again. I don't know. But just something interesting, the GoBuilder ones don't, and the Rev one don't include that. Uh, Talk more about the GoBuilder one. There's a counter roller underneath to lift the pollen. It's not powered, so it's not really a counter roller. I realized that after I made the presentation. But it's basically just a bar that they would hit and move up. So kind of like how the Rev had that flat sheet of plastic, this is a very little bar to lift them up. The GoBuilder kit also has lots of these flat plates. I think that could be used for the hopper. So when you get all the pollen inside your robot, you have to store it inside the hopper. Then that hopper, then not with the parts in the kit bot, but maybe for the like other teams, it could lift up in the air or something somehow. It'll be really interesting how the kit bot ends up looking based on the game. The kitbot also has a lot of these wheels over here. You can see like rollers that are used on the bottom of that bar. Then there's three 312 RPM motors and one 117 RPM motor. On the kitbot, the 117 is used for the intake. It's geared up to be a lot faster, and there's only two 312s used for driving, which means that you can there's also a 6,000 RPM conversion kit for one of the 312 RPM motors. What is this used for? Um, I don't know. I don't think they would do a shooter again, but you never know. They could just be like spinning a really fast flywheel, not like a shooter exactly, but like goes on like a shoot or something to just outtake all the balls really quickly. Um, Here are some potentially useful designs that I've seen so far. I got some of these from the Discord. Some of them are just products. So the Viper slide, just that's a set of slides that you could use. The Masumi slides, I didn't put those on here, but they're on the robot made by Nelop. I don't know if Nelop is here right now. I hope he is. But that's his robot right there. It's got like the mechanisms on the front, and this whole hopper section in the middle actually lifts up in the air on the slides. Box tubes, I'm hoping to use box tubes because we have some that we haven't used, and they look fun to play with. Then this one over here, I really like how it's got the counter roller on the bottom, and similar. It's basically a mini FRC robot where the whole intake can lift up because of the servo over here. So there's just some designs I found interesting based on what we know so far, and only what exactly 2 weeks since they released the pollen. Um, so what do you guys think? There's a lot of stuff that we know so far, but a lot of stuff that we don't know. And yeah, there's just like uh my yapping, my thoughts about what's happened so far and what we know. But what do you guys think what do you guys think the game's gonna be?
I think it's going to be dumper game.
Do you think it'll be like pick up the hopper and dump the entire hopper, or just like FRC shooter? Oh, okay, stop sharing.
That's my personal thoughts. I really hope they don't do two shooters in a row. That would feel so bad for my for the teams.
I
I
personally
think, yeah.
feel like that I don't think the challenge of this game is going to be depositing. I think the challenge of this game is going to be intaking. And I think the some of the starter bots having intakes higher up. I wonder if the elements are going to be primarily on like a higher shelf. And there isn't a possession limit because they don't expect you to be able to for it to be optimal to possess very many of them at one time because of how hard it is to intake them.
Yeah, that's something I was talking about in the previous meeting. Is what if like we're all thinking about, oh well, we'll have to pick them up off the ground and put them in the air. But what if there's just some on the ground and the rest of them are like somewhere really hard to get to, like you're saying. And like part of the challenge is actually getting the game elements and then putting them somewhere else. I think that would be pretty cool. And in the comments it says similar to the Vex game. Yeah, that's what we were talking about in the last meeting as well. Like, they have like putting it in the tubes. I think that would be helpful, especially for the refs doing like scoring and everything. It's a lot easier to just look at the side of the tube and see the tape line and whether the pollen are past the line than to like score every single artifact that goes through. Yeah. There won't be a limit, FGC ranking points. Yeah. Yeah, the tube is definitely an option, viable.
It could also be like there's a bunch of hexagons like stacked on top of each other, and those are the tubes just to keep the B theme.
I
Yeah.
want I don't think they would do two because if you're noticing, First has been trending away from direct robot on robot competition. For the last 3 years, we haven't had any shared scoring area really. I mean, yes, we had it in Power Play and we had it in Freight Frenzy, and we had it consistently years before that, or for to a decent degree of consistency years before that. But we haven't had it in 3 years, so I'm wondering if First is trending away from direct robot opposing alliance up competition like you had in a Vex pushback. We were directly competing against pushing the dodecahedrons, I think, against the opposing alliance. And from what I've seen, First don't really want to do that. So I would be hesitant to think it's going to be like that. Plus, it's hard to do that game with this many small balls. The
Hmm.
Vex elements are like is bigger than artifacts.
I really hope they lean into like what Preston said, like the B theme overall. Because they like with the Into the Deep here, I was kind of disappointed. It was just like cubes. So I really hope they lean more into like the B theme. And like what Colin said, I don't think when I say tubes, I don't think it'll be like where you have to push the other person's game out, the game elements out. I was thinking more like just there's if you imagine like the middle center structure, there's like two sides, and each side has like tubes, or along the wall, even for the refs to see it better. Just like outside, maybe even sticking like outside the field, just like that, and then there's the field wall, and then the tubes. You can just like fill up the lower one for some points, and the higher the tube is, the more points you get. And then
The
when they're
tubes.
yeah, when they run out, then I think it'll be cool. And like later on in the game, if there's less pollen around, just because they're all in the tube, so it'll be harder to get to. I think that'll add like a level of complexity to it.
Since this season is kind of like bee themed, I feel like that large structure might be some type of beehive, and like you're like a bee and you go collect the pollens to return to the beehive and dump all the pollen out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I've been doing some brainstorming, and what I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but the beehive is a good idea. But recently with Vex, if I remember correctly, you have to do something. You can like get an ice cream cone, if I remember correctly. What about like flowers? Like, what if we're getting pollen from flowers and then turning them into honey? So what if it's going to be a new sort of game to where like you input an element and then get one out? If
Like
that
into the deep specimens.
Yeah, exactly. Like you turn the pollen into some sort of other element to turn into honey, or like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I can see that because my concern with the sheer amount of pollen would be live scoring. There's no feasible way, especially with all the backlash from this year. There's no way that they stick with live scoring, especially with this many game elements, because it's already relatively obvious that you're going to have more than one of these pollens. Um, and I can certainly see like exchanging a certain amount of pollen for another element. I can see that being a
Like you give
possibility.
like five to the human player and they can give you like
Yeah.
one.
I wonder how
Yeah.
they would do that. Like, do you think it'll be the human player, or what if there was like a mysterious box on the field, and it had like a lever inside of it, and then you put like a pollen in, or five pollen or something, then the weight shifts, and then like the flower falls out or something, and then it's the pollen stay in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like because FTC, like the game design committee, really doesn't want to put like electronics into the FTC fields, but I think like a lever thing would be really cool. It just senses like all the pollen in there and just spits something else out. Or the human player, but maybe I don't know, maybe the human player has like a box or something, and then like when they fill up pollen just to make it like easier so you're like not having to count every single one. You just throw them all in the box.
Um,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, my bad. So how if does anybody remember how much the fields were last year to buy? Because this year I believe it's like 600 for the pre-order. Because if that's more than usual, then we could lean into the automatic scoring aspect. Because if they end up using pollen as a game element, I completely agree with the fact that just manually scoring isn't going to be efficient at all, and there's going to be too many points of failure. So I think if $600 is a little bit more than we normally have, then we could be looking at automatic scoring.
I feel like it was
No.
600
Yeah.
for decode. I remember Into the Deep, it was 400 for a half field because they had the submersible, and it was 600 for the whole thing.
And that's
I
what this
don't,
year is, right?
yeah, I don't remember the decode half field cost, but I know it was 600 for the full one.
All right, so I've got the costs pulled up here for Decode. The full game set with all elements was $249 discounted from the original $485. And the partial field was $250 initially and is now down to 129.
So it's like $100 more this year than it was last year, give or take.
Yeah, but including those are all the elements, but if we're including the tiles and the perimeter, that's over 1,000, but
I mean,
that's to be expected. That's standard.
could it be another like submersible situation where there's a shared pool of pollen? That could be why it's so expensive because like Annette said, the reason Into the Deep was so expensive with just a half field was because it had the submersible. So what if it's another shared game location thingamabob?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they had the pollen in the shared structure or like where you score it into the shared thing. In our last meeting, Siddharth from the UK was talking about the first global competition one where you can score it onto either side. I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, but you can score like it's basically FRC but FTC. That's like the same size balls and stuff, and you can either score them into either side or in the middle structure where it like benefits both teams, and then if you get enough, they like fall back out or something. So like if you get them like past the line, then they all roll out of the center there, I'm pretty sure. So it could be something like that where you can score on like your side, your part, or the like the shared part in the middle, and then the alliance partner can do opponent can do the other side.
Yeah, I do think there's going to be a shared thing because it's 400 for half and only 600 for full. So it's only a $200 gap. So it's a very small gap relative to earlier, like this season. So I think there will be one major thing that both teams, there's like one solid piece that you need to even do half.
And it's confirmed that FTC specifically is pollinators, right? Like we know for a fact it's all about pollinators.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
like
These.
so the bee theme and everything.
Yeah, it's like bee themed.
What do you guys think about like terrain and stuff though?
Terrain's going to be
Terrain
interesting.
game.
I don't think
No
it's going to be a
terrain.
terrain game. I want one, but I don't think it's going to be one this year.
I
Yeah.
hope they
Yeah, I hope that
don't.
there's a difference, but I haven't got a clue.
Maybe there's what like some kind of like barrier across halfway like across the field. So there's like the red side, the blue side, but then you have to like go over onto the other side to get your scoring elements or something. I think that would be interesting. You have to like cross the side, but it's just like a little slope or something. So, but your robot could potentially get stuck on it. You have to put like a little servo on the bottom to like move off the line.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
I don't want like mechanism and odometry pods. I don't want them to just be useless now.
Yeah, because then
Yeah.
programming is just gonna be horrible.
Yeah, it does delete the Mechanic Wheel odometry pod meta.
I think
Couldn't you have reset points? Teams had reset points this season. Couldn't you just have odometry reset points on the field?
Yes, but I feel like it would be really inefficient.
yeah. I think they did say in the a lot of the stuff in the skill builders was about using vision and like cameras and stuff to navigate the field. That was one of the skill builder challenges was like drive around the field autonomously. So I think there might be a lot more like vision focused this year.
Plus, you could combine it with odometry using the hydropathing fusion localizer. I
Yeah.
think that's in beta right now, but
It's out of beta now.
I like what
it's out of beta?
Elizabeth
Perfect.
said. I think there'll be like a height, like the height bars from center stage. I think that's a good thing that could happen.
Yeah,
It's
that's
going
also
to be
fair.
something like that, but also like an unlimited extension game also. I hope they do
I
unlimited extension.
wish.
yeah,
A
just
return to the good
swap
old
all
days.
the pollen.
Just
Wait,
let
yeah,
us
wait.
hold pollen, please.
Let's see.
Are we thinking? Because I was talking to my builder about this for prototyping. Do we think that a rubber band intake or like a compression/compliance intake is going to be better?
I think it's going to be compliant wheels because that's
Yeah.
been compliant wheels and surgical tubing.
Or surgical? I want a surgical tubing game, bro.
Well, the thing is, this season, some starter bots have rubber bands. Like I think the Andy Mark and the Studica ones, they both have rubber band intakes. But the Go
Andy
Builder
Mark
and the
one-
Rev ones use compliant wheels.
Yeah. The Andy Mark one was rubber bands. The Studica one actually had surgical tubing though.
So okay, well, yeah,
It's
surgical
so
tubing is good
Yeah,
too.
I
so
thought the
we
Rev
pretty
one had
much
rubber
have
bands, no?
intaking figured out then for this season. Intaking, we can look at this season's meta and pretty much just
Yeah. This season, though, it varied a lot. I think some teams got really good at the rubber band intake. As long as you had like some kind of bar on the front to block the rubber bands from like getting stuck on people. We saw that happen a lot at like Delaware States and stuff. People's rubber bands were just all over the field. That's why, and even though we use like the really big like wheels and stuff that we've molded, I think that's what we're gonna try and do next year with the Pollen, just smaller wheels overall. Um, because that worked really well. It just like grabs it right away. As long as you have the bar on the front.
I
That's
think Go
been really
Builder
good.
Gecko wheels are going to be very good.
Yeah, we're designing our intakes over the new 32 millimeter Gecko wheels. Either those are the 48s.
Yeah, we're working on like 48 ones. Stuff.
Not big thing, kind of a mix of both.
The skill builders also emphasized the importance of being able to intake off of the walls. So we're taking inspiration from the what's it called? The Go Build a starter bot. And I think we're either going to be sticking with the side wheels with the servo powered, or we might double them or something.
I didn't rock one this year, but isn't surgical tubing the best aside from the tensioned? Isn't surgical tubing the best for getting off the wall?
Yeah,
Surgical tubing plus Gecko wheels, in my opinion, is the best intake possible.
Yeah.
Plus the load wedges are the meta.
Wait, could you?
Yeah, the load wedges with the universal joints and stuff that worked really
Yeah,
well
they're
for us
peak.
this year. So I'm that's going to be fun to try again with these. See if I can make it happen with the side things. I don't know. I might just do counter rollers or something. But yeah,
Could
definitely
you?
something for the corners.
Could you custom inject like Gecko wheels that have surgical tubing built in? Would that be possible? Like it'd be a little Gecko, it'd be a little compliant wheel and then little thingies sticking out. So
Yeah,
it's like,
you just 3D print the insert and then have the
Mhm.
surgical tube going into the insert and then pour the silicone on top of it.
yeah.
That'd be something.
I can see that.
I did. Listen,
Do you want to read the chat?
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff in the chat. There could be two more different size game elements. It would be unfair for rookie teams that don't start until the kickoff. Yeah, because a lot of like the teams that are really into it already like know about the pollen and stuff and like are already making CAD and everything, making robots. But the teams that aren't as on top of it, I guess, are at a disadvantage. Yeah, they who
The
knows, they
one thing
might
I don't like.
yeah, they might like we might get to the kickoff and this will just be like the little decorative ornament on top of like the entire structure. There's only one of them in the whole field and you never know. You never know.
First.
Yeah.
It'll be the bars from center stage. Yeah, I think someone else mentioned that like going over or under something. Even in FRC this year, that's what they had to make robots like under a certain height so you could if you didn't want to go over like the mountain, what do you call it now? The bump in FRC.
Oh, I don't remember now.
Okay. The bumpy thing.
The trench and yeah, okay.
Just
Yeah.
Scroll up more.
Yeah, someone else brings up a good point, that the game design committee doesn't really know what's happening in Decode because they've already made the BioBuzz game before the season's over and everything. That makes sense. Yeah, I hope they figure it out eventually though.
one thing, Akash, one thing about the being two different game POIs, I guess whatever you want to call them, is we looked at it and the half fields will like two half fields was less expensive than one. Okay, how do I put this? It costed in the long run, it costed more to just buy one half field than it did to buy both of them together. Like there's some sort of combined element that makes one half field more expensive.
yeah.
Yeah, you see it down here. It's 600 for the full and then 400. So you like you'd think that they would just split it individually, but no.
Wait, that is actually outrageously expensive.
Yep. What was the partial for the half in Decode? What was that? Yeah,
I have it pulled up. Let
yeah.
me
I
check.
think you just looked at that.
I don't know the
Full
exact
game
price,
set
but I think it
initially was
split exactly in half.
485 and partial game set was initially 250.
Yeah,
So that certainly points to a central structure because the partial is more expensive than by a lot than half.
that's another interesting thing in the chat from Colin. I don't know if this has been talked about, but in the tape set that you can buy, there is no white tape. So there's probably no neutral zones.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I had not looked at the tape set.
So that is elite.
That's fair.
Good catch, Colin.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair though, there was Into the Deep where there were also no neutral zones that were marked with white tape either.
The spike lines. The spike
Yeah,
lines and the climb.
yeah.
Oh, the spike lines. That's fair.
Yeah, like the angled things on the sides of the submersible.
I think
Yeah,
it
but
could
those
be they're
weren't neutral
replacing
zones.
white spike lines with Alliance colored spike lines.
The
I think that's
pedestals, guys. It's all in the pedestals. All these are they're gonna be on little poles, and they're like you have
Like
to
what they
knock
did
over the
for
pole before you
Reefscape?
put it up. Yeah, yeah, where the like the giant ball is on top of the
Yeah.
pipe. It'd be like that. The coral and the algae.
I want tubes in FTC.
Then you have to take the tubes and assemble the hive where you put them. That'd be yeah, but before you can have your hopper and dump all the pollen and everything, you have to actually build the structure. That'd be neat.
Oh, and another little. I just wanted to pick y'all's brains. How do we think they're gonna differentiate this from Decode? Because even though they made the game right after they made Decode, how do you think they're gonna stop people from shooting? Like, what game element?
I think the no yeeting rule is going to come back.
Yeah.
No
Human
yeeting.
players may not eat the game elements. Best rule of all time.
I have a button from another team that says like thou shalt not eat, and they made them for decode. I mean, into the deep, and then they crossed out the not part, and then just called them decode buttons. I have one somewhere.
Um. Oh shoot! What was I saying? Never mind.
All right, the chat one. Okay.
Yeah, mini rebuilt, guys.
It should be so much fun though. It'd like be terrible, but it'd be so much fun.
Yeah. Okay. The high-speed motor for the GoBuild starter kit might just be for fast intake and fast outtake. Yeah, instead of being.
Yeah, it could be for the intake, but then it would have like no torque, to actually spin. They do give you a lot of different gears though in the starter kit, so they could just want you to play with the gear ratios and stuff.
I think someone said I was yapping with one of the minions a while back, and they said they think it became standard, like in the Go Build It kits, just to include one
Yeah.
of those.
Here they had a spare
I'm
motor
not
as
sure
well.
if that's true or not, but
Yeah, so maybe they'll just use it as a 312, and then the just you get a free like conversion kit for it. Because they do like to do that, like put stuff in there that you could use for other seasons. Yeah.
Another thing is if you look at the Go Build a Starter Kit, it has the white panels, right? One of those fits like perfectly in the very center, laying flat. And I think that just alludes to a big hopper, or like some flat sheet where you put all the balls on.
Yeah, so maybe they use like one like the third motor, the 312, to like tilt the whole hopper like a dump truck, Like it gets all the pollen in there and then it suddenly like tilts them all out somewhere. Because they always try to have like the lower level of play, like this year they had like the depot zone, it just has to be on the line. With the net zone, you just push them in there. You just go and you just like the dump truck just tilts them all into like a
They
zone.
need a way of balancing that because you can get a lot of balls in there.
It's only like 1 point versus maybe, I don't know, 5 points for
They
the
they
tube
could
or
also
something.
just make it so you can't score like a billion balls in there.
Yeah.
yeah. Plus, if I recall correctly, there was a 117 RPM motor in there as well, no?
What would you
Yep.
even use
Yeah,
the
yeah.
117.
Oh, toy.
The
Could be for
117,
something where you have to pivot a large mechanism because you need a lot of torque.
yeah, the torque motor, the 117. Right here, they have it on the intake. It's actually the one with the ginormous gear over here. So they're just speeding it up
That's the
to turn the
117?
intake with it. Yeah.
Why so see?
That's gonna be a slow intake, my goodness.
I can't remember the gear ratio on here, but it's
Like
a lot. So it's
8?
speeding it up.
It's like 800 RPM ish, I think. It's like
Yeah.
not slow, but it's not terribly fast.
4 servos too.
2 of which are already getting used.
Yeah. I hope they make
Alright.
like make the kit bot just turn into like a dump truck and tip all the balls out. I don't know if they've. Yeah, sorry.
Wait, here, continue.
Okay. I don't know if they've released like parts list for the other kit bots and stuff yet, but I haven't seen them. But I think it would be interesting to see what other parts they have and how like similar they are to the Go Builder one.
They
Like
could be going
the
for
Andy
different
Mark one,
scorelines.
it only has like 2 motors and they use a servo on the intake. And the Studica one, they haven't released too much about that one. I'll have to look at the footage of when they dumped all the pollen on the floor at World again.
Oh, that was crazy.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Everyone swarmed the field.
Yeah, so what I was gonna ask, 2 things actually. One was do you think they're gonna bring back the no expansion limit? I hope they
I don't
do,
think
but
they're
like
gonna do that because that seems just like unsafe and
well,
very
not
easy
sorry,
to
not no
like.
expansion limit, just like into the deep where you could go to 48.
Expansion.
I miss unlimited expansion so much.
This unlimited expansion is so fun. You can do so much stuff.
Yeah, I really hope they add it back somehow. And like you said, like Into the Deep Port was like 22, it was like 20 by
You can
42 or
extend it further
something,
now.
right? So
Yeah,
it was
20
it
by
was
42.
yeah, it was bigger than the normal 18, and there was like no height limit, which was nice. But yeah, because I want to make the hopper like extend at like an angle, so it'll just like go. So that way you can like park your robot down here and dump over here. Yeah, I really hope we have extension.
Hydraulic season?
The
Yeah, I
day
don't
they
know if
bring
they would.
Let
hydraulics,
us use
empty
air to
seat
suction our
ground.
robots to the floor.
There would be a lot of field damage there with start leaking hydraulic fluid everywhere.
I mean, to be fair though, um, Go Builda's shocks are technically legal, but they do violate that rule because they are oil-filled shocks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Are they legal? Or is it legal if it's
They're
like
legal. They are 100% legal to my knowledge.
I'll have to look at that, yeah. We need suspension mechanism, right?
I mean,
Suspension
that'd be
mechanism.
great.
That'd
We've
be
been designing a
six.
whole bunch of terrain systems, but
Just rock the Sweckenham.
Colin can speak to that.
Yeah, he's the
Um,
creator. Does anyone have any more CAD that they want to share? I would like to see that 4-bar linkage intake again. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, we have a couple CAD designs. I can share them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Added anything recently? Just a drivetrain.
All right, can everyone see this?
Hey, it's me.
So this is CADs from me and another guy in this meeting. He's Liam. He is on the phone right now, so we can't really show these. So I'll just talk about his designs too. So the first one he made was this die rotor, which was kind of based on the limited expansion and a high tide robot. If you guys know that one from this year, it is pretty much. I think it's intended to launch all these balls up into a shooter. It's pretty nice, and this would be placed somewhere like inside a large hopper.
Yeah, so that's like basically like the FRC thing, right? Where it spins
Yeah,
around
which
really
is like
fast and just lifts them
similar
all
to
up.
an FRC, where this would spin ridiculously fast, then push all the balls up. So he also made a turret to go with this. I don't really think it will be a turret game, but this is still some pretty good practice for packaging and stuff.
Pretty good.
This is pretty much just a single ball turret. And we also use these hyperbolic, technically they're hyperbolic, but the hyperbolic flywheels to like maximize the traction, which is pretty nice. And for that intake, I made this 4-bar linkage intake. Obviously, we're probably not going to be buying all of these wheels here because that would just be way too much money for an intake. How it works is it's powered by this servo here, 2 servos if you want to be extra careful, and this spins this thing right here, which is linkaged by a 4-bar on this dead axle here, which means that if you spin this, the entire mechanism is going to like deposit out and then
Sweet.
and it will go into the field. I'll show you that.
That is beautiful, man.
Yeah,
And
I
then we
really
got
like the arm on the bottom. How's that? Is that that's powered by some more
look.
servos, I guess?
yeah. So I used the smallest servos I could find. Might want to get a larger one. It's like the Swift Nano. It's ridiculously small, but it's just like if you have seen 254s robot this season, it's like that. It will be attached directly onto this plate. I just don't have that in this CAD, and it just like folds up just like the first one.
It reminds me of hot dog rollers.
Yeah. We'll probably replace these with the OP take, whatever surgical tube stuff. And if you can see, I can show you the sketch. We have
Swerve.
And then those bottom ones, they
Swerve's
aren't
body.
powered, right? Like they just sit
yeah,
there
so
and
these
then the
bottom
rest of
ones, they're just
kind of
passive.
grab them.
They
Yeah.
are just like stable on the ground and they don't free roll. They're just there to kick the ball up pretty much, which is the same thing that this blue thing here does. I gotta find the sketch real quick.
My
That's
PC.
It's a giant flywheel.
Yeah, so we actually designed this to fit inside another robot, kind of like that one Discord robot that you showed where the whole mechanism lifts up. I didn't make the rest of this, but I have this master sketch here, which it makes sure that the balls are always in contact with these three things and one active roller, and like maintains a constant compression. It's pretty.
What's the compression you decided to do?
I it's at 3 right now, 3 millimeters,
Okay.
but it
Yeah.
can be
You can adjust that, yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that design. Then you're thinking they'll just go into like there. I noticed there was like that really long like blue piece inside in between the plates. That's just like what they'll ride on when they go up over the rollers on the field,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the
And
idea.
then
They're
from
gonna.
there, do you think? Sorry, you can go.
Oh no, no. Yeah, that's the idea. The balls are gonna get bumped up into here and then glide into here, and then assuming it's a large hopper. This was based on like a large hopper design, where you just dump a bunch of balls. It would go onto this little belt thing right here that would be able to lift up and down pretty high up to get to higher scoring areas. And
Cool.
this just deposits them up into there.
Yeah, I really like that design. And then it still goes back. It all compresses into 18 inches when it lifts up.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick.
It compresses down into the 18 perimeter. Just like that.
What wheels are you using on the intake right now in the CAD?
These right now they're 32 millimeter grip force.
Yeah.
Grip force. I don't even know what they're called. They're just the 32 millimeter rebuildable squishy wheels. But this is like somebody calculated. This is like $400 worth of these wheels because GoBuilder has insane prices for stuff like this. So we'll either mold them ourselves or use the surgical tubes. Probably surgical tubes.
Coming up from a prog who doesn't have it, how much is silicon molding tools like to start off, and is it worth it? And also, is master sketching worth it? Kind of unrelated, but I have a few questions while I'm here.
Honestly, I don't really know how much the silicone stuff costs, but I know it's definitely significantly cheaper than what GoBuilder sells it for.
And is it like the same? Is it same compliance? Like, are you gonna get the same result?
Yeah, you're gonna get the exact same thing because GoBuilder
Material.
they use like a 30A silicone thing, which you can very easily buy somewhere, like a department store.
Yeah, I
And
know.
yeah, master
I
sketching.
haven't done molding myself, but I know Dylan on our team, I'm sorry, the other Dylan, the real Dylan has done molding.
A real
The real Dylan, has done a lot of silicone molding. I don't think he's here right now, but he's on our Discord. So Mikey, you could probably ask him on there, how much his stuff costs and how easy it is. He's always making new kinds of molds and stuff.
Yeah, I've done some molding for our team this year when we were trying out some silicone intake wheels. If you get, I mean, I personally like BB Dino. It was recommended to me by Vin. Um, it's about $30, like $20 to $30 for two decent sized containers, like probably enough for like 1.5 rows of those wheels, maybe. Um, Only $20 to $30 for that much silicone, and then you just 3D print the molds.
Mhm.
So it's significantly cheaper than buying the wheels from GoBuilder, like by a
Okay.
long
Yeah,
shot.
nice.
So, David, you said ping the Dylan with melanin, the other Dylan, right? From Load.
Yes, the other Dylan.
Okay.
The
I think
Dylan
his
one.
name
His
is
name's Crab Squid Dylan,
Oh,
I
that
think.
Dylan. Okay, I know that Dylan.
Yep, that Dylan. There's a
Anyway,
lot of Dylans in there.
Yeah, don't ping me. I
Jacob,
don't know about it.
with CAD for master sketching, would you say master sketching is like over? I know it's personal preference, but like in your experience, has master sketching produced better results than without it?
It's definitely worth it. I can show you. I use like the FRC methods where they have a separate document and stuff for master sketches. It makes it so much easier, at least in my preference, to it makes it so much easier just to make your design more modular and like have different parts attached together. Like in this example, I CAD'd like everything I could about this intake. Like for example, these three wheels are the down position, and this is the up, and these three over here are the up position. And it means you don't have to do like stupid readjustments just because you got something off. And another benefit with master sketching is that you can use variables very well. Like for example, I use all these different variables to make sure everything fits together, like the plate width, the compression, so I make sure it's the same everywhere. And then another thing I do, you can do with master sketches is update the RPM of each of your mechanisms. Like in this case, I have this input, the RPM value. If I wanted to like a pretty fast drivetrain, I can do like 500 RPM. And you probably didn't notice it, but it will update the pulley diameters and teeth counts down here to give you the exact RPM. Well, technically not exact. In this case, it actually is 495 RPM. That's another way it's pretty good for. And yeah, so I use the master sketching, which actually takes the most time in the design. And then this will load.
Wait, like Load
It kind of,
Robotics? Sorry.
yo, I get it. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so because of the master sketches, I was able to make like the entire design, disregarding the time it took to make the master sketch. It took me about like 30 minutes to an hour for this whole thing. For like each individual plate and stuff and the mounting.
So you pretty much just like for master sketching, the entire point is to like get the little niches down, so like making sure everything fits together before you actually put it into 3D.
Yeah. The
Okay.
master sketching, you just put like everything you could know about a part, or like the position of an intake wheel, the compression, and the position of plates. Like here I have, that's not in this master, but I have the plates here, the mecanums, wheels, and their various clearances. Like this is the actual wheel, and this is the clearance of the mecanum wheel and the dotted in the construction lines. And in the intake, I have, because in the intake, because my stuff doesn't exactly line up with the dimensions of the Go Builder shafts. I actually could, because you see I have these little slots in here to fit it the exact dimension of a Go Builder shaft. It's actually, it's 384, which is the exact dimension of one of them. And the master sketches allowed me to like preset that dimension here. And then I have like the various extrudes based on just those dimensions, which makes it very useful.
Okay. Dylan will cut.
That is really cool. I really like how you used all the variables and stuff. That's something that haven't seen before. What are you guys this setup.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I did not hear what you said.
Yeah, your mic was
Um,
shaking.
Yeah, could you repeat that?
all right. Yeah. I said I really liked how you used all the variables and stuff. That is really cool. Really good stuff that I haven't really seen done before. Then the next thing is, what drive chain are you planning on like with this design? Saw on your sketch you had like two stages, right? Is that what something you're gonna try?
Yeah, so we were doing, well, mainly me, I was doing Swerve as like an off-season project, and I kind of realized that, okay, it is, it's not really feasible, especially if we have a risk of this game being terrain. Like this looks really sick and stuff, and like would be insane for portfolio, which definitely this will be on our portfolio for sure. But it's just like not reasonable because this is like at least $400 for just this part because of all the like different unique COTS parts. Like we need to buy, especially the axons, because those are like $100 a pop. And then a bunch of these COTS parts, which these gears, they have to be 3D printed pretty much. And that just means that's just another failure point that's not really, in my opinion, worth it. So, I mean, Mecanum, it's always been pretty simple because of the COTS options with GoBuilder, which makes it very easy to implement, you know. So yeah, we based this one off just the basic Mecanum parallel plate drivetrain.
And you're thinking like first stage of like all belts or like gears maybe and then belts or something?
Yeah, this is probably not the best Mecanum design, but it goes from a pretty small gear. This is the motor, by the way. And it goes from this pretty small gear to this pretty big gear, which does most of the reduction. And then it goes from this pulley to a pulley, which is actually over here. From this pulley to this pulley.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're looking at the Romanian drivetrain tech right now, and also Hive. I know Hive did it. I know some other people did it too, but it's
Yeah.
funny to call it the Romanian tech, where you got like the 9 tooth gear even smaller, to
Oh
like
yeah.
the giant Go Build It gear. That's what we're playing with right now.
We've
But it
actually
might
found
be
an
too
8 tooth
fast.
gear.
Say it again.
We've actually found an 8 tooth gear that's 0.8 millimeter pitch. It's insane.
Yeah, I found one that was it was uh what is it? One like 30-second or 32 pitch or something, but it was like compatible with 0.8 and yeah.
Yeah, 32 DP is compatible with 0.8 millimeter pitch.
Yeah, I think Adam from Hive said he even did like 7 tooth gear to 105, which is a little crazy, but I think we'll probably end up doing 9 after all, or 8 if we can find 8. I found 8 and then they all went out of stock, so
Um,
I shouldn't have posted them on Discord.
Wait, may I ask why we're hooking an 8 gear up to a 105 gear for our drivetrain? Like, is the 105 gear on the drive motor and the 8 gear on the wheel?
No, so you've got the Bear motor from GoBuilda, which goes up to it's like 5,800 output speed, um, which is like shooter, like flywheel speeds, not wheel speeds, drivetrain speeds. So you have to slow it down a lot and to give it more torque. So you can go from like a 8 to a 105, and I think the output speed there is like 442, which is about like the same as the 435 RPM motors that most everyone uses for their drivetrains, which will give you like the same amount of torque, the same amount of speed, but just lighter overall, and like a smaller overall profile because you don't have the giant gearbox. You can just put the gear directly like behind the motor, and it's less bulky than using like the. I know a lot of people use just HDD 5 millimeter belts, which are pretty thick, and plus the 3D printed pulleys on top of that. So all in all, it's like smaller, and it's pretty cool. So. Yeah, but to slow it down from going from the really fast motor to a slower wheel. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I also have a little bit of a throwback here because a close buddy and I are gonna do a summer project of remaking Eclipse, if any of you get the reference. And we were just wondering, we were discussing drivetrains, and I just wanted to ask y'all,
It's my goat.
it's the upper creep bot, with like the 10 specimen autonomous. Yeah, we're gonna try and do that. So, yep, the ghosts. Anyways, so we were just discussing drivetrains and having a debate. Do y'all use gear driven or belt driven drivetrain? Because we're trying to get to Worlds next year because we're tired of being losers. So like, what's meta? Like I like the idea of belt driven just because of what you can do with belt driven, but he doesn't think it's worth like the effort. So like through y'all's experience, what's better?
I mean,
So, yeah,
oh yeah, you
you
can
can go.
talk about
Okay.
it.
Um, from what I've seen, most people use when they use bare motors, which some of the teams do when they focus on the drivetrain, is like what 10001 is doing, where they have like the really tiny gear to the bigger gear, which then goes to a belt stage, then to the wheel. That's what I've seen most people do when they do bare motor. But I think some teams, I know Ice Robotics and Leviathan Robotics, they decided not to focus on their drivetrains as like a main thing to work on and just make their drivetrain as simple as possible so they could focus on improving like the whole rest of their robot. So they're like some of the top teams in the world. And so what I know they do is they use I'm pretty sure they both use 150 RPM motors from GoBuilda and then just geared to be slower for their wheels. Um, but it depends. There's a lot of different drivetrains out there.
Some
What do you
also
guys think?
just fully gear ones like AI Citizens. I'm pretty sure
Yep.
they were
Yeah.
fully gear. I mean, they were
Yeah.
fast, but it's like to get that level of consistency, I don't know what type of like they were doing to it.
So it's kind of just like it doesn't matter that much. It's like a
No, not really. If the
okay.
main focus of the game isn't how you're driving, it's what everything else does. So like I feel like it's not really worth it to spend months of your season time at least to make something like a very complex swerve when you could have been improving your like cycle rate
And
within the robot.
subsystems and everything.
Mm.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
In the chat, the other Dylan said, "What's the benefit of using the bare motors over the yellow jacket?" Um, Honestly, like I said earlier, like the size and the packaging and the weight, but the yellow jacket, if you use like the 435, that would be honestly just as good. If you just package them like low down, so you have a lower center of gravity, and then just like belt them, it'll be like I said, that's what Ice and Leviathan do is they use the 150s geared to be slower, but the 435s will be just as good. It's mainly just like packaging to make less space inside of your robot when people use the bare motors.
What are bear motors? Are they just the yellow jackets without the casing and all the components just squished together?
You know how like the Rev with no gearbox has that little like bit at the top that you put in? It's that.
Oh,
It's just that.
oh.
There's nothing on it.
I can share my screen. So this is if you guys can see it,
Yeah.
what the one looks like from GoBuilda. It's got an 1/8 inch D
Oh,
shaft on the end. So it's literally just a really tiny, it's a motor with no gearbox. And then there's another piece on here when you get the yellow jacket motors where that has more screw holes in it that the gearbox attaches to, but this one doesn't have that. So it comes with um this piece here that looks kind of funny, but it's got the threaded holes in it that are M4, and then the four holes that are next to it, those go into screws that hold the motor on. So it's basically like a mounting bracket, so you can mount it to stuff. But this is a bare motor. They also make ones that have like Rex shafts on the ends. We used two of these on our flywheel in December to January. So that it's just like a normal yellow jacket motor, basically. It's basically like attached to the D shaft almost.
So it's like one of these, but supersized. It's just like
Um, yep,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
essentially.
that's the core of every FTC motor, though, is just
It's
that
bigger than
same
that
motor.
though.
Yeah. And they're only like $20 too. So
Wait, that might be the strat. Wait, what's the downsides of using them then? If they're cheaper and more compact, and you can do more stuff with them.
They're a lot more prone to being worn. Like if you have our sister team, they had a direct drive with two of the bare motors, and it's especially if you have like a shooter that has a lot of compression, but like that is going to is very easy to damage the bare motors, and also you're going to usually have to have some different mechanism that gears down the bare motors because most of your mechanisms are going to be 6,000 RPM. That's just going to add another layer of complexity to the building and something that can also fail in your robot.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we had one that why we actually switched was because they don't have as many bearings in them. Like the Yellow Jacket ones, they've got like bearings all the way through in like the gears and stuff. Even though we printed our own mounts for them that actually had bearings in them, they just weren't. It was some of the shafts started getting a little wiggly. Um, it's more points of failure when you have that more gear. Like every single wheel is going to have another set of gears and another set of belts and everything. That could break. And if you just use Yellow Jackets with HDD 5 millimeter, then you would have no problems. So I would say do that honestly, but we want to try bare motor because it's cool. Um, does anyone else have any CAD that they want to share? I really like the stuff that you guys had, Jacob. That was really cool.
Dylan's got some.
Yeah, Dylan.
Come on, Dylan.
Should I go again? I guess I will. Maybe.
The
Yeah.
albino rhino, the bleached.
Come on, Dylan, we gotta
Yeah.
see it.
Okay, buddy. All right. Fine. Okay, can you see it?
You added the belt. It's beautiful.
Okay, so just a quick rundown. This is going to be Mechanism drivetrain, about 500 RPM on the output. And then the first row of intake wheels is pivoting, so it can kind of move up and down with the pollen to kind of go over them. And then this second row is stuck down, and it'll have a ramp to kind of bring them up there into those wheels. And then down here, I need to add another like set of counter rollers so that it can go up into these. So this belt here that you see is going to be kind of like a conveyor essentially, and it's going to stretch the entirety of this open channel here and bring pollen up against the hopper and bring them up here, and then they'll kind of just drop into there naturally. So it's kind of like a conveyor belt system to bring them all up into the hopper. And then eventually what I'm going to do is stick this hopper on some slides and just make it go up in the air and then have a servo to kind of rotate it so that it can be a dumping hopper. So I think that's kind of what I'm betting on this game being, but I have no clue honestly. So we'll just have to see.
Luzo, can you repeat that last part? I was making lasagna for Lincoln. What do you think the game's going to be? You said that's what I
the
think.
hopper?
Yeah.
So I'm going to make this hopper here. This is very rudimentary. I just put it there for the demonstration, but basically I'm going to put it on some slides so that it can go up in the air and then have a servo on the hopper so that it can rotate and dump the pollen into something, whatever that may be.
Can I give you a bit of advice? I have an idea.
Sure.
So what if instead you keep the linear sliders on the outside of the box, but what if you make the bottom of the hopper tilted, and then instead of having something that tilts the entire hopper over, why don't you just have an openable door on the bottom at the back of the hopper? Do you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah, I can see that. That might work.
it's tilted, and that way instead of having to lift it up and tilt the hopper like a dump truck, you just open the bottom of the hopper and it pours out. That I feel like that would just be less points of failure and would just overall be easier.
honestly, I can see that. I might make that change.
Yeah. It's looking good though. It's kind of
Well,
funny.
thank
It's
you.
almost identical to one that I made. I made it like the day after Worlds because we were like driving all the. So I just got out my computer and made it. I'm gonna. Do you mind if I share it real quick?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
not. It's
Let's
just a
see it.
sketch, but it looks almost exactly like what you have, kind of. Uh, if you squint, yes. If you kind of like close your eyes a little. But I did this. The last edit was like May 3rd or something. But it's basically the balls go through here in the bottom. We've got the intake. There's some rollers. Then this roller to this roller are whoops. This one and this one are belted together, so there's a belt on that side, and then another one. I don't know where that circle went. And to there from down here, and they basically move through with belts on each side that are spinning, so they can move through there pretty quickly. Then they go up and they turn around this curve over here, fall into here, and then you see it's like a separate like box basically, so that whole thing will be able to move up and down. So they'll just move through here and then all go into the big pile over here.
Uh, can I pick your brains about
Okay,
this
so
real
you
quick?
had the same idea as me, sort of.
Shut up,
Yeah,
Dylan.
definitely.
Except he made it false, so it's like he's the cooler one. But anyways,
Okay.
I wanna pick your brains about this level. So the little funnel that goes into the hopper, are those like I maybe you just said this, but like could it be like just two belts, just bare belts, and then they just like compress around the pollen and shoot them upwards? I'm trying to think of a good example of what does that, but it's just like
Yeah,
it's like
I
a
think
belt
that
and a
belt would
ball.
fall off. It would be too loose. It would have to be too loose to get the right like amount
Mhm.
of like to bend that much to go around the curve. So I was just gonna 3D print this part. I figured if there's this is spinning, these the belts on the sides are spinning, then they'll just get moved through, and then if like one gets stuck in the tunnel, then the next one will just push it up.
Uh-huh.
And if it's a big like you have to just lift up the whole hopper and dump them somewhere or something, it won't really matter if you leave like one in your robot. I mean, then the other ones you just go get more and they'll push it through.
Mhm.
But like I said though, I made this like the day after kickoff. Oh, well, not kickoff, pre-kickoff. I don't know.
I would say I
Yeah.
think you're onto something amazing with that tube idea because that would mean theoretically you could not only have a hopper full, but you could have some sort of mechanism that stops them from leaving the tube. That way you can have pollen preloaded in the tube. It's like after you dispense a hopper full of pollen, then you can put all the ones that were in the tube back into the hopper. Does that make sense? Just like
Yeah, if the hopper gets too full too, and
yeah.
you're busy intaking and you don't want to go get rid of them, you can just fill up the tube and then go dump and then instantly fill it back up again.
Mhm. Wait, this is a way we're cooking,
This
guys.
is the meta, trust.
One thing that could happen with a box like that is balls really like to get jammed. And so like you might need like an agitator of some sort just to
Yeah,
push them up.
I was thinking if you have to put them in tubes, you need like a little like I don't know how to describe it, like a little track basically, and then that's on a servo and it can lift up, and there's another servo that's like a door in the side of the hopper. So first that'll go down and then the door will lift up and they'll all just like roll out, and then the robot you hit one button on the gamepad and the robot just starts wiggling to wiggle in the hopper
Hit
and they all
wiggly
fall out.
robot.
I don't know. Yeah.
Temporarily untunes the heading PID.
Yep. Yeah. Just backward. I've seen our programmers do that with the robot. Just
Hydropathic tuning type stuff.
yep.
This is completely
Real.
irrelevant, but I just want to say since we haven't had a single hungry mention at all this meeting, I got sushi.
Nice.
I just want to
Let's
share
go.
that.
Absolute hunger.
Absolute hunger, yes.
I made you a channel. You gotta put it in the channel. Oh, someone said in the chat, what sensors do you think we will need next season?
Limelight.
Yeah, I
With
think we're gonna.
system core coming out, absolutely.
Limelight and odometry.
Yeah, well, our whole robot covered in cameras. We'll need one for every side.
Is this control bait?
We are control baiting.
Or I've seen some teams do where they have their limelight on a pivot, so they can look at like the artifacts on the ground in auto, and then that pivots up to track in teleop. So maybe you could do something like
An
that, but it
artifact.
pivots like this, so you can just like always be tracking something while you're moving around. You know?
At that point, Studica does sell FTC legal LiDAR.
That's
I
intense.
mean, maybe.
I don't know how you could possibly like program that, but
I'm glad I'm not trying that.
um, yeah, pivotal webcam. Yes, yeah. Turrets are back. Limelight turret.
Let's go.
All right. So I think no one has anything else that they want to add about the game and everything, I think we had a really good meeting, and it's getting a bit late for us here. Um, so, but thank you all again for coming. I think we didn't have as many people, but we had more excited people than the other one. So it's always great when more people are like, talking and everything. And everyone, go join the Discord server. The Discord server is awesome. Um, we've got a lot of people on there all the
You need
time.
some food. A lot of food. There's a lot of food on the
Yep,
Discord.
a lot of food, a lot of food.
And then the only other things I would mention would be our next meetings, June 14th at noon EST and July 18th at noon EST. And there'll be more information about
And
this coming in.
if anyone is interested in being a presenter or knows anyone who'd like to present, just reach out to me on Discord and we'll get them in there. And on the 14th, we'll probably have Simba presenting about Onshape, on his configurable parts in Onshape, how to make them, and how he manages the library and everything.
Yeah, may I ask what we can expect from those meetings? Is it just going to be BioBuzz updates and just presenting how we've done? Like within the time frame, like in the FT season, where is that? Was that like after like your regionals and stuff?
So most meetings we have a presenter come, and then after the presenter's finished, then we like do questions and stuff, and then after that, then we like to do just like talking about stuff and talking about robots and sharing CAD. So we basically did that like every meeting.
This
But
meeting is
yeah,
different in that we
this
don't
one's a little
have
different.
like a specific presenting team. This is more of a discussion.
We were too excited about the pollen coming out, so we wanted to not have a presenter and just talk about what everyone's thoughts were about the new game. But
Yeah,
the next
good
meeting
deal.
will be more like have a presenter, do the questions, and then we can talk about robots and stuff.
Plus, with Michiana, MTI, all that stuff, those are certainly going to provide some interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, Michiana's gonna be coming up soon.
Yeah.
We'll be at both of them. If you guys, if your team's there, let us know.
I wish, man.
Yes,
It's fine. All of us are going to awards and all of us are going to MTI next season.
yes.
Every single person.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I know Dylan wants that the 3D printed water slide for our robot, the rainbow one. I have that for you for Michiana. I mean, Worlds
Yes,
next
when
year.
we go to
Worlds
Worlds
next year.
next year, I am getting a load water slide.
Yo,
It'll be
David owes
autographed.
me a chocolate milkshake. David said he'll make me a chocolate milkshake if I go to awards.
We have it in writing.
You
We
got a
do.
lot
I
of
have that message pinned.
promises to keep there.
You guys gotta lock in.
Hey, listen, I promise
We
I'm
will.
gonna try my very hardest because I got a lot of people to meet. I'm gonna head out, everybody, because I'm devouring the sushi. All y'all are awesome. Very good discussion. I'm very happy to be here. Mikey out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Enjoy,
Bye,
man.
Mikey.
See ya.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Dad.
Yeah,
And
it's been
hopefully we'll
been a
see
fun
you.
time.
Yeah.
It definitely has. Thanks for having me, y'all.